Hello everyone, my name is Mirma Tico Ortiz and welcome to our peaceful classroom. Our peaceful classroom is a dedicated space where educators, parents, and other professionals can come together to talk about ideas on how to promote positivity and peace in the lives of children and in teens. In its real sense, a peaceful classroom is one where students feel safe, secure, and comfortable in their learning environment. However, there are many things happening around us which challenge even our own sense of balance, our own sense of peace. Today's episode is for our teachers, but if you're not a teacher, I'm sure you will still be able to relate, so keep watching. We all have heard of the words new normal. For some, they perceive these words, the new normal, as an opportunity for growth and innovation. But for many, these words give out the feeling of anxiety and stress. For many people, including myself, I find that abrupt change is uncomfortable. When my comfort zone is being challenged, I feel that I get very stressed and disoriented, affecting my disposition and how I relate to the people around me. Before COVID-19, wearing a face mask, maintaining physical distance, and wearing a face shield was unheard of. In fact, one only wore a mask in public if they were sick or in the hospital with highly contagious patients. But when COVID-19 took over the global community, everything changed, and it changed rapidly. Aside from wearing masks and face shield everywhere we go, students and teachers needed to migrate their classes to online. Online application like Zoom and Google Classroom was unheard of for many of us, and Facebook was mainly used to socialize with family and friends. With the threat of COVID-19, everyone needed to adjust. Whether you were ready or not, you had to adjust, to adapt, to survive. Because of unforeseen and abrupt change, stress levels of teachers, students, and parents skyrocketed, often causing a lot of sleepless nights, affecting mood and our mental well-being. Have you ever woken up feeling exhausted or tired? Have you ever feared for your life because of the virus that is invisible to the human eye, but highly contagious and even lethal? All these thoughts and feelings are real, but how do we overcome these thoughts and feelings? How do we take charge to keep mentally strong? In today's episode, we will be talking about how to jumpstart your day with positivity. To talk about this, we have Dr. Maria Teresa Bautista-Tayaban. Dr. Tayaban, our protagonist for this episode, is a mother of 4 adults. She has 2 boys and 2 girls, and married to 1 husband. She received her PhD in Child and Family Studies from Miriam College in 2008. She served as Dean for the School of Arts and Sciences, now called the School of Teacher Education and Humanities of St. Mary's University in Bayumbong, Nueva Vizcaya from 2010 to 2020. She is currently Dean Emeritus since she retired last June. So today, let's listen to Dr. Tayaban as she talks about breakdowns that affect our wellness and positivity.
Hi everyone, I am Dr. Maria Teresa Bautista-Tayaban, and today I'm going to dwell on emotional wellness for teachers. Wearing of face masks, social distancing, hand washing, sanitizing, all this characterize the new normal courtesy of COVID-19. Undoubtedly, the academe is one part of society that is badly affected by this pandemic. School year 2019-2020 was hurriedly ended. Those who shifted to the new academic calendar had to deal with digital modes of teaching, to the chagrin of many. I can just imagine the stress levels of both teachers and students. How is everybody adjusting to the new normal? Fresh from mandatory retirement from my workplace, my initial reaction to all the hullabaloo regarding the new normal is that of relief. What good timing, this retirement. Then again, having worked as an educator for 40 years, my heart goes out to my former colleagues and all the students out there. In retrospect, the 2 months of lockdown surfaced both pleasant and unpleasant emotions. At first, the excitement was so overpowering. So much bonding time with my husband and children, more time to relax and take things slow, ample time to do early spring cleaning, and there was time to do the things I kept on putting off when there is more time. Interestingly, the lockdown somehow gave me a foretaste of what my life would be when I retire. At the same time, it was also stressful because as an administrator, I had to attend Zoom meetings with co-administrators to brainstorm on what to do with the remaining days of the school year. I also had to be in constant communication with my students through our group chat, conduct lessons online, and supervise faculty members under my care in their attempt to hold classes online. More often than not, I wished that I were in school rather than working from home. It was simpler and less stressful that way. Now, the COVID-19 scare is compelling the Department of Education and the Commission on Higher Education to re-engineer the conduct of teaching and learning in schools. A wide-range transition to digital mode of teaching is becoming a realistic option, but not without challenges. Christina Cipriano, Director of Research at the Yale Center for Emotional Intelligence, says, "No one was really ready for this upheaval. It's a daunting reality, no question. But the worst thing we can do for our teachers, students, and families is to prioritize socio-emotional learning during the pandemic. It is next to impossible to expect teaching and learning to occur in a crisis without attending to our emotions. Over and above the multitude of concerns we face today, we must not neglect our emotional well-being. An interesting question to ask at this juncture is, Do teachers have a formal education in emotion skills? Unfortunately, the teacher education curriculum does not include courses that cater to the development of emotion skills. So it boils down to the teachers having to help themselves, care for themselves, and for them to get ample exposure to self-help toolkits for emotional well-being. In a survey conducted by Cipriano and Brackett, all teachers were found to be anxious, fearful, worried, overwhelmed, and sad. And the most frequently mentioned emotion was anxiety. With anxious, fearful, worried, overwhelmed, and sad teachers, how would they be in the best position to teach their students, as well as to assure them that things will become better? Teachers' emotional well-being, therefore, has to be given utmost attention and priority.
It is but normal to feel stressed, especially when our responsibilities pile up and when many of our days feel uncertain and the things that we plan for don't go our way. It is true what they say, this pandemic has stolen so much from humanity. But on the other side of the coin, it has taught us great lessons, such as the importance of family, and that family isn't always blood. It has made people find renewed importance to concepts of compassion, kindness, and understanding. Because the problems presented before us are enormous, we have found ways to collaborate and to cooperate to be able to solve challenges that come our way collectively. Dr. Tayaban said there was no course for teachers on the development of emotional skills, and many teachers pushed to help themselves, care for themselves, to be able to be strong enough to help the people around them, most especially their students. Emotional well-being is so important, and it must be given priority and attention, because if it is taken for granted or pushed to the back, it will be very difficult for teachers to function well and at best, which may impact the learning of our students. Let's listen once again to Dr. Tayaban as she gives us some points to breaking free from things that harm our mental well-being.
Teaching and learning are the fundamentals of schooling. It involves teachers imparting new ideas, clarifying confusions, explaining complex concepts, facilitating insights, and encouraging the development of critical thinking to make sure that learning on the part of the students is taking place. But I believe that teaching and learning also involves relearning and unlearning. Concepts and knowledge learned in the past, but due to disuse, have to be relearned in order to better understand new concepts and new knowledge and to apply them in daily life. Unlearning of misconceptions, superstitions, and even cultural biases are essential to expand one's horizons to keep up with the influx of new trends and trusts in education. Learning, relearning, and unlearning are also essential in emotional wellness. Learning positivity in facing life's challenges, relearning resilience to facilitate self-care, and unlearning self-defeating notions are highly recommended nowadays to be able to breeze through these uncertain times. The expression, "look at the brighter side of life," is a common food for thought we hear when things go wrong. It tells us to focus on what is positive and work on things we can control. I am convinced that teachers exhibit high levels of positivity and resilience, but the COVID-19 scare has not only increased their stress level, but it has even pushed them to feel distressed. It is therefore imperative, dear teachers, to get a grip of yourselves because so much is expected of you and there is so much to be done to survive and combat the unseen enemy. To be reminded that we are not alone in this situation is a good start. Teresa tells us that these are uncertain times, but it's temporary. If we do not feel okay, that's okay. But let us not hesitate to seek help and support when needed. It will help if we take time to reflect on who we want to be during these challenging times, to focus on things we can control, to be informed, but to also take breaks from COVID-19 news and information. She even adds that it would be very helpful to set a routine. Other than the usual schedule for schoolwork, find time for personal wellness. Have fun. Be creative. Connect with people who matter. But remember, it is also all right to set boundaries. Humor and laughter have been identified to be helpful in weathering difficult times. The proliferation of many humor-laden social media posts offers a lot of stress relief. Admittedly, I look forward each morning to seeing funny posts on Facebook. They just make my day. How about you? I also believe that understanding positive psychology, a branch of psychology that focuses on how we can flourish in life, would be very helpful during this time of uncertainty. Collison states that positive emotions are important for boosting well-being. This doesn't just refer to happiness though. The spectrum of positive emotions also includes joy, love, gratitude, awe, hope, pride, serenity, and inspiration. Cornane offers the following tips to cope with the new normal. Allow yourself to grieve the old normal. To move on with life is not easy, especially when we are not over with what was lost. Grieving the old normal, therefore, will help us accept the new normal. Create a new routine. Creativity is needed to embark on a new routine, but flexibility will be very helpful. Journal your experience. Writing your experiences, whether pleasant or not, could be very therapeutic. This reminds me of my diary writing days when I was younger. Create a space inside your space. A designated place of work at home, and being properly dressed for work at home would surely offer the much needed motivation. Stay connected in new ways. Social distancing does not mean being disconnected with people who matter. Again, creativity comes to the picture as we try to maintain our relationships. Create and find pockets of joy. Celebration does not pertain to major accomplishments. Small things may be enough to make us smile. Give yourself a break. These are not ordinary times, so live life one day at a time. In short, Cornane is telling us, give yourself the space and time to grieve, to celebrate, and to feel every emotion in between. During this challenging time, we are living in a situation that never happened before, at least in our lifetime, and it is impacting each and every one of us in a unique way. And if you find it difficult to adjust to your new normal, it is never too early or too late to reach out for support. Regardless of all the challenges we face, let us jumpstart the day with positivity. Remember, positive vibes will invite positive energy.
Dr. Tayaban said it is important to relearn, to unlearn concepts and knowledge that are of the past. And as teachers, we need to find ways to update our knowledge about concepts that apply to today's daily life. She gave emphasis that unlearning misconceptions, superstitions, and even cultural biases are essential to expand one's horizons to keep up with new trends and thrusts in education. The concept of learning, relearning, and unlearning are also important when we talk about emotional wellness or well-being. Because of the pandemic, it is not always easy to look at the brighter side of life. Dr. Tayaban shares important reminders to keep mentally strong. Number 1. Remind yourself that you are not alone in this situation. Reminding yourself that is a very good place to start. According to Teresa Newton, yes, these are uncertain times, but this is also temporary. So if you don't feel okay, that's okay. But don't forget that you can always seek for help and support when you need it. Number 2. Maintain a good sense of humor. Humor and laughter help in weathering difficult times. Finding things to humor us daily can be quite the stress buster. This can be looking through some clean, funny posts on social media or watching maybe some series or a movie on Netflix, or even at ourselves. So, we always do little funny things, right? By keeping our sense of humor, this helps maintain balance. Like what they say, laughter is the best medicine. Number 3, focus on positive psychology. It was given emphasis by Dr. Tayaban that focusing on positive emotions are important to boosting well-being. According to Evangelista Cornane, when we talk about boosting well-being, we are not just talking about happiness, but other spectrums of positive emotions, including joy, love, gratitude, awe, hope, pride, serenity, and inspiration. Number 4. For us to embrace the changes in the new normal, we must grieve the old normal. Allowing time to feel every emotion and embracing the changes will surely help us move on. It will also be helpful if we create new routines, maybe journaling our experiences, creating spaces inside our sacred space, staying connected in new ways with our family and friends, and creating pockets of peace and joy within us. Of course, it's always important to remind ourselves that it's okay to take rest. So that's very important as well. These tips are surely helpful and very practical. When we embrace positive psychology, we become more mindful of our feelings, which helps change our mindset about life and overall disposition. Let's now go back to Dr. Tayaban as she shares with us some ways to break through.
Even if I have retired from full-time work effective June 1, I have agreed to teach as a lecturer this semester. Our online classes started last August 10, and even with just one subject to teach, I feel so stressed. There are so many things to learn and unlearn. LMS, or Learning Management System, is driving me to my wit's end. There is Google Classroom, Google Meet, Zoom, and many more. If one wishes to be updated with online teaching and learning, there are so many webinars one can participate in. As teachers, we don't have much choice but to cope with all these technology and changes in the mode of teaching in order for us to be able to teach our students. Let us continue to look at the bright side of all these things. Imagine my feeling of joy and satisfaction after I have conducted my first lesson via Google Meet. Slowly but surely, I'm beginning to get the hang of it. And mind you, it feels great. Many times, I cannot help but marvel at the wisdom of this line from the movie Spider-Man. With great power comes great responsibilities. As teachers, we have the power to influence young minds, and at the same time, great responsibilities are heaped on our shoulders. As such, we have to have broad and strong shoulders, literally and figuratively. Finally, what does the future have in store for us post-COVID? It's still uncertain, but we cannot let our fears and negative thoughts get the better of us, because many people, like our students, our co-workers, our family and friends, look up to us for support. We just have to jumpstart each day with positivity.
Dr. Tayaban invites us to evaluate our feelings. Through self-evaluation, we can help get a hold of our emotion and strengthen our well-being. For this exercise, you will need to write 2 columns or draw out 2 columns. You could write this in your journal or in your diary or on a piece of paper that you can see near your table or wherever your working space is at home. So give yourself some time to reflect on the question and the sentence that you need to complete. Always remember to be honest with your feelings, okay? So just be honest with your feelings before you proceed with the task. Okay, so on the first column, you have to ask yourself, how do you feel today? Okay, to answer the question, you can draw a simple face to express how you feel and write in a short description. On the second column, you can then complete the sentence, I will be okay if, okay, so think about it. It's important that when you complete this this sentence, it's important that you embrace the present, that you are in the moment. Avoid overthinking, okay? So just be mindful of the things that is within your control. After doing this, you can then go back to it, a couple of days later, a few hours later, and check it on how you feel. So I hope that self-evaluation tool given to us by Dr. Tayaban was helpful to you as it was to me. So like the title of one of my K-dramas, it's okay not to be okay. All right? So it's okay not to be okay. But keeping mentally strong is not an easy task. But knowing that you are not alone helps tremendously. May you, dear teachers and our audience, continue to inspire the people around you. May you find meaningful connections to help you break free from worries and stresses under the new normal. And may you always find pockets of peace and joy to sustain you always. Once again, this has been our sacred learning space, and we hope to see you again next time here at our peaceful classroom.
Magandang araw po sa inyo. Ako po si Grace ng Department of Psychology at Miriam College. Nandito po ako ngayon para magbahagi ng konting karanasan or tips din, no? Kung paano pa natin matutulungan ang ating mga sarili at ang ating mga estudyante para guminhawa ang pakiramdam at yung isipan at ay mas maging okay, no? Ngayon po, ang aking ibabahagi ay paano ginagamit ang sining para makatulong sa atin, maipahayag ang ating nararamdaman at para rin matulungan tayo ng sining, no? Kung paano natin makakalikha ng bagay na magpapagaan ng loob natin. So ngayon po, napili ko ay yung tinatawag na Focusing-Oriented Expressive Arts Source of Strength. So ano po ba itong Focusing-Oriented Expressive Arts? At itong topic or theme ay accessing source of strength. No? Yung pag-sabi po natin focusing, pinapakiramdaman natin ang nasa sa loob natin, kung kamusta nga ba tayo. Tinitingnan natin, no? Ano nga ba ito? And yung connection niya sa sining or expressive arts, paano siya na-express, no? Through these arts. Pwedeng, ano kayang tunog ng pakiramdam ko, no? Pwedeng ganon. Or anong mga salita o anong imahe, no? Pwedeng, parang medyo kulay bughaw yung aking pakiramdam, no? So pwede nating gawin 'yon. So in a nutshell, yun po yung parang pakikiramdam ng sarili, ng katawan, ng pakiramdam at paano ginagamit at kinokonekta yung sining doon sa bagay na 'yon. Yung isa po, yung gagawin nating tema ngayon ay accessing source of strength na pwede tayong gumamit ng iba-ibang paraan, no? Pero ang naisip ko po ngayon ay isang collage. Hanapin ko lang po yung collage ko, no? So, pwede po natin ito po pinagsama-samang mga pictures, no, from the magazine. So naisip ko pwede tayong gumawa ng collage, no, para yung mga sobrang magazine or sobrang newspaper sa bahay na pwede nating magamit, pwede tayong lumikha. Tapos pwede rin siyang reminder sa atin, no, ng pwede magpaalala sa atin ng source of strength natin or yung quality na gusto natin, no, na kailangan natin para tumatag tayo at makapagpatuloy tayo sa buhay. So, imbitahan ko po kayo na yan, no, na kung nasaan man kayo ngayon, pwedeng hanapan nyo yung sarili ng pwesto na komportable kayo. So, tingnan nyo po kung komportable kayo. At tignan nyo rin po kung tahimik yung lugar, no, at hindi kayo masyadong maiistorbo. So ngayon, kung handa na po kayo, samahan nyo po ako na pakinggan ang nasa sa loob. Pakinggan ang paghinga. At hayaan lang po, no, na maging mas present in the moment, no, yung nandito tayo. Kung may mga bagay na sumasagi sa isip natin na hindi natin kailangan ngayon, pakawalan lang po natin. Parang paghinga, no? Hino-hold natin yung breath natin, yung paghinga natin, pero kailangan din natin pakawalan. So kung ano man yung bagay na pumapasok sa ating isipan, hayaan lang po natin na ating pakawalan. At pansinin din po, no? Kamusta nga ba ako? At ano nga bang kailangan ko ngayong mga panahon na ito? Paano pa mas tatatag ang aking loob? Ano yung quality, no, ng strength na kailangan ko? Paano mas tatatag at mas makakapagpatuloy ako dito sa mga ginagawa ko, lalo na sa mga panahon na napanghihinaan ako ng loob. So, hayaan nyo lang po, no? Pwede nyo i-pause po itong video na to habang pinapakiramdaman, no? Yung katangian, qualities o mga bagay, no, na pwedeng makatulong para tumatag ang loob at nakakatulong din sa pagpapatuloy. So, take however much time you need to just reflect on that, no, and sense that, no, on the inside and how it feels on the inside. Ngayon, kukuha ako ng iba-ibang mga magazines, no, na pwedeng makatulong. So, minsan, yan, pwedeng bumili lang dun sa may mga book sale na mga magazines, no, na so, kung may magazine kayo, may mga kulay kayo na nakikita, pwedeng gupitin. Ano yung mga kulay na parang tumatawag, no, ng pansin sa inyo hanggang sa makabuo kayo ng iba-ibang mga larawan, no, na gusto ninyo, no. Pwede namang collage, pero kung hindi po ready yung collage, pwede rin naman na mag-drawing o gumawa ng tula o kahit magpatugtog ng musika, no, para mas mapakiramdaman, no, ano itong katangian o suporta o bagay na pwedeng makatulong sa akin, no, para tumatag yung lakas ko. So, ikukwento ko po itong collage na nagawa ko. Actually, yung sa akin, ito yung parang ano yung quality na kailangan ko, katangian na kailangan ko ngayong panahon na to. At ang napili ko nung nagme-meditate po ako noon ay isang daga. No? Yung parang, bakit daga? Di ba? Parang ang dumi-dumi naman yan. Pero nung habang nagre-reflect po ako kung ano ba yung katangian ng daga, para siyang nakakaawa kasi vulnerable siya, wala siyang bahay, at talagang humahanap siya na makakain niya. Pero yung nakita ko pong katangian niya ay hindi ko siya naawa siguro sa sarili niya kasi makulit siya eh. Talagang nagpupursige siya para makahanap ng pagkain, no? To survive, no? Yung survival mode niya na tuloy-tuloy pa rin siya, hindi siya humihinto. Very relentless nga ang tingin ko sa kanya, no? So yun yung parang isang bagay na parang maganda ring tignan na nakatangian. At kumuha rin po ako ng iba-ibang mga litrato na nagpapakita ng nature. Tapos meron po ditong butterfly din, no, na sinasabi na nagtatranscend siya. No, na kahit anong hirap yung pinagdaanan niya bilang caterpillar, naging butterfly siya. So may magandang nangyayari, no, sa kanya, no, after a while. So ito po yung aking collage, no, na pinagsama-sama ang mga litrato. Pwede rin pong mag-drawing. So may mga drawing po ako dito. Minsan kapag kailangan ko ng kapayapaan, no, ito baybayin to, ang ibig sabihin niya is payapa. So ito po pwedeng mag-paint. Yan, no. So at habang nagpipinta, habang gumagawa ng kulay at drawing o sulat o musika, pwedeng pakiramdaman, no? How does that feel on the inside? Itong ginawa ko, at anong ibig niyang sabihin sa akin, no? And then just wait a while, no, and sense how it feels on the inside. And maybe you can write a reflection, a thought on that, no? Meron po akong gustong ibahagi sa inyo na tula, no, sa ating pagtatapos. Ito po yung tula na gusto kong ibahagi sa inyo. I-share ko lang po yung screen. So hayaan niyo po na magwakas ako dito sa isang tula na to, no? Sumisilip na sinag. Sumisilip na sinag, silayan ng hinagpis, alalayan ng lakas, abutan ng liwanag. Hayaan ang paghakbang, gaano man kabagal, tumuloy, tuloy-tuloy, akapin ng hiwaga. Hindi man maintindihan, di naman nag-iisa, sa paglikha ng kwento at paghabing ng buhay. Loob ay patatagin ng uyayin ng pag-ibig. Tumuloy sa paglakbay, tungo sa bahaghari. Sumisilip na sinag, akapin ng liwanag, hanggang luhay tumahan, damdami pumanatag. Sana po nagustuhan ninyo ang aking tula at itong segment na ito, no, para yung pinanghuhugutan natin ng lakas na pwede tayong gumamit ng singing. Maraming salamat po at muli magandang araw sa inyong lahat.